Violence erupted at the People's Democratic Party (PDP) national headquarters in Abuja on November 18th as rival factions clashed over control of the party's secretariat. The crisis stems from a disputed national convention that elected Kabiru Tanimu Turaki as national chairman, which is rejected by the faction aligned with the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. The day began with heavy security presence around the Wadata Plaza, where the pro-Wike faction had already taken control of the premises. When Governors Sheyi Makinde and Bala Mohammed arrived with Turaki, they were initially blocked by security operatives allegedly influenced by the Wike camp, leading to a standoff and eventual clashes. Police fired tear gas and reportedly gunshots to disperse the crowds, resulting in a chaotic atmosphere. The Turaki-led faction eventually forced their way into the building, of course chasing out pro-Wike loyalists. Turaki declared his faction's control of the headquarters, but postponed the inaugural National Working Committee meeting to November 19th, 2025 due to the violence. The party remains deeply divided with parallel structures and no immediate resolution in sight. Is this the beginning of another crisis for the PDP? This is the Eastern Eye. I am Alex Obodo. Welcome to the Eastern Eye, a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Joining me tonight is Honorable Dr. Nick Obiozonsi. He's a public affairs analyst. And also in the studio tonight is Amos Obonnaya, a constitutional lawyer and the executive director, Center for Nonviolence and Social Justice. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me tonight on the Eastern Eye.
Thank you.
The matter, they say in Pidgin, the matter taigele. So I had to get two guests to talk about it, just like my in-laws would say, the matter taigele. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'll start with you, Honorable Dr. Nick Obiozonsi. The PDP Secretariat became more like a theater of crisis. This morning, it was a yin and yang, a struggle on who will take charge of that particular premises. And what was your analysis of that situation? Because not a lot of people expected that this would happen. Two factions fixing meetings just an hour apart, one for 8 a.m., another for 10.
The problem that erupted today did not just start today. This problem started a long time ago, and it was heightened up immediately after the PDP factional convention at Ibadan. Not only that, the pronouncement of suspension of some of the PDP stalwarts at the National Convention equally added more petrol to the fire, whereby Nyesom Wike, Samayanwu, and about 9 or 10 others were pronounced suspended at the National Convention. So these are some of the things that gave room to the current scenario at the PDP national headquarters. Let's take ourselves a little back to what actually prompted some of this problem. Number one is that the pro-Wike group has said that before this convention can hold water, there should be, the party should address the issues on the ground, like some of the suspended members even before the convention, like the Abia State PDP chairman, the Imo State PDP chairman, the South PDP chairman, and some other persons who were allegedly practicing anti-party. So they were suspended. Not only that, also, Sule Lamido, who made an attempt to pick the PDP chairmanship form was prevented. It was made to understand that it's only one form that existed, and they already have a consensus candidate. You go back also, you look at the PDP legal advisor, who was shortchanged just at a very short notice with the reason that they gave the reason that he pays allegiance to Nyesom Wike group. They removed the legal advisor, and an external legal advisor was appointed to oversee the legal matters of the PDP. And some of these things actually heated up the polity. Some people begin to ask, before somebody is suspended in a political party, will the person not be given chance in an arbitration panel where the person could be tried and found guilty and be suspended? Or somebody will just overnight give order because of his position that somebody has been suspended? Take, for instance, what happened at the PDP convention at Ibadan. While the PDP convention was going on, but the judge moved the motion that Nyesom Wike and some other persons should be suspended. And it was echoed based on what Bode George said. And some state governors came up, like the governor of like Fintiri was the convention committee chairman, the governor of Plateau State. They come up and said this was not what they discussed in their the neck meetings before the convention. And they came out openly to say, no, we are against coming out to pronounce suspension for somebody who was not given the chance to defend himself, or an arbitration panel set up to find the person guilty before suspension was meted on that person. Somebody like the former governor of Kwara State, Saraki, who was the man championing the mediation as the chairman of a reconciliation committee, he equally voiced out and said that no, this was not what they discussed. That you're only hearing somebody talking about suspension right there at the convention ground. And Nigerians begin to lend their voices to some of these differences. So at the end of the day, PDP elected chairman and some other officers. I'm talking about the faction loyal to the governor of Oyo State, Sheyi Makinde. And then Wike group now said, no. How could they plan a convention without clearing the things that was discussed that must have been cleared, so that they could have a smooth convention? That was what actually brought the problem. And also, out of the 36 states of the Federation, only 17 attended that convention. And the question now remains, what happened to the other 19 states? Are they no more part of the PDP? Shouldn't there be reconciliation to make sure that all the 36 states of the Federation of the PDP are carried along? So this gave room to the warring factions insisting on whom they have appointed. And you know also that Nyesom Wike group has also elected their own BOTs. They've also elected their national chairman, and the division came up. Today, these things I mentioned are the things that actually heated up the polity, and of course, the problem of security interventions, party struggling to take over office. I also wish to remind us about the contradicting court issues, whereby a federal high court in Abuja gave an interim injunction that convention should be put to hold under the PDP constitution is put in place. And not only that the man who claimed that he had been disenfranchised or prevented from taking the PDP form should be allowed to collect form and contest election like others. Within a few days, another federal high court in Oyo gave order that the convention should go ahead. Another 3 days, another federal high court again in Abuja came up with no, PDP should go home and do their homework by allowing Sule Lamido to pick the form. Whether he fails or he wins, he should be given a chance. There are a lot of problems that came up.
All right. I mean,
I was not finished.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have time to dig into that.
Okay.
I'll revert to you. But I need to take up the issue of the court cases with Barrister Obonaya.
Yes.
When you have court cases from courts that are equal in jurisdiction, because that's the only way I put it for the benefit of those watching, injunctions are coming from courts that are equal in the authority. So which of the injunctions should be respected by the PDP? And there was also the issue of INEC not witnessing the convention in Ibadan.
Well, okay. There is a maxim that lawyers say that where two equities are equal, the first in time prevails. But in this case, where we have conflicting court judgments, it is the latest judgment that operates because they are courts of coordinate jurisdiction. The last statement, the last judgment or order of court, that is why they were able to carry on with the convention, because Friday evening they were able to secure an ex parte order by High Court of Oyo State to carry on with the convention. And then talking about INEC, Section 82 of the Electoral Act makes it very clear about the role of INEC in conventions, conferences, seminars, meetings of political parties. Section 82(1) says that every political party in Nigeria that plans to hold a convention, a conference, a seminar, a meeting of the party must give INEC 21 days notice of the said convention, conference, or national meeting. Subsection 2 of Section 82 says that upon giving that notice, INEC may, with or without notice to the political party, attend such event as an observer. So if you look at the two subsections of Section 82, one is compulsory, the other one is discretionary. Now, the operative words in the two subsections are shall and may. When a statute says you shall do something, it means you must do such a thing. It is compulsory, there is no discretion. But when the statute says you may, it is discretionary. It means you can do or you cannot do. So when subsection 2 of Section 82 of the Electoral Act of 2022 said that INEC may attend such convention, conference, or meeting of a political party, it means that whether INEC attends or not does not derogate from the validity of the convention, because it's a discretionary power. As long as they were given 21 days notice of the convention, that is all the law requires the PDP to do. And so, talking about the issue of the convention, it is very clear that issues of convention, issues of selecting who leads a political party, issues of selecting candidates for political party to run in the general election are internal affairs of the party. And the Supreme Court since 1983, in the case of Honora Okafor, has come down with this principle of the party is supreme. The party is supreme. The Supreme Court in Honora Okafor said that political parties have total control over all internal affairs. Internal affairs means who determines who leads the party, who becomes the candidate of the party, disciplinary situations or disciplinary issues in the party. That is internal affairs of the party. The Supreme Court in 1983 that the political party has powers to run its own internal affairs without interference from the court. And that is the principle. That is the ratio decidendi in that case. And if you check from that 1983 down to this day, the Supreme Court has always stood by this decision. For instance, in the case of PDP and Timi Silva, which was decided in 2012, in the case of Emenike and PDP, decided in 2012, in the case of Ole and Tunji, decided in 2012, in the case of PDP and Ogundikpe, decided in 2012, the same principle that was laid down by the Supreme Court in 1983 was followed in those decisions, which is that the court has no jurisdiction to veer into the internal affairs of the party. Now, in 2020, during the gubernatorial election in Ondo State of this late governor, Akeredolu, in Akeredolu and INEC decided in 2020, the Supreme Court still stood by the principle of supremacy of the party. And what is critical about Akeredolu's case is that the Supreme Court said, even where the political party makes a mistake, even where the political party did not comply by their own rules, no court has jurisdiction to pry into it. In other words, Supreme Court, the political party should be allowed to make mistakes and learn from them. Make mistakes and correct themselves. So if you are aggrieved, you use the internal mechanism of the party to ventilate your grievance. If your grievance is not sufficiently addressed, you have the freedom of association. You can leave the party and go to any other party. But you cannot stay in your party and then constitute yourself into a weapon fashioned against your own party.
Yes,
which Wike is doing.
I understand the point you have made, but the situation where the party is now the way it is, who will anyone who is aggrieved appeal to for any redress to be given? We have two factions. The party has imploded. The Wadata Plaza was like a bonfire this morning.
Yes.
So who will the person who wants to be a loyal party man, to respect the internal processes of the party, who will the person write to for redress?
Now, that is where INEC comes in. And that is where some commentators are saying that INEC is not performing their supervisory function properly. We all know that the convention that took place in Ibadan was proper because it's in line with constitutional, with statutory provisions. It is in look, NEC of the National Executive Committee of PDP met and decided that this convention shall hold in Ibadan. It was supposed to hold in August, then it was now postponed. And they gave 21 days notice to INEC. That is all they are required to do. And in that convention, they have the powers to look into the issues plaguing the party and to take decisions. Because in line with the PDP constitution, the National Convention is the highest decision-making body of the party. All they have done in Ibadan is consistent with the constitution of the party. You see? So, you see that there are just rabble-rousers those who are trying to foment trouble now, trying to constitute themselves into a parallel organ of the party. But it did not work. INEC should be able to recognize the convention that took place in Ibadan, and because their decision not to attend, or whether they attended or not, does not distract from the validity of that convention, as long as 21 days notice was given. And the PDP...
But was 21 days notice given?
Yes, PDP has circulated a certified true copy of that notice, which they gave to INEC.
Okay, great.
That is all the law requires.
All right, Honorable Dr. Nico Biozonsi.
You will now see that once INEC recognizes the Ibadan Convention, all these other dissidents will peter out.
All right, so Honorable Dr. Nico Biozonsi, do you see a situation where INEC will recognize the Ibadan Convention? Because there is proof that they got the notice for that convention 21 days prior.
Let me address a little issue. I want to pick from what my good friend, the barrister, has just said. In the issue where he said that INEC may attend, that may is not binding on the political parties, neither is it binding on INEC. But we should recall, while Sam Anyang, when he went to contest for governorship position of Imo State, at the end of the day, somebody was appointed to replace him. And they went to court with the PDP constitution. From High Court to Supreme Court. And in PDP constitution, it was underlined that anybody that wished to contest that position may resign. Samanya did not resign, and that was why he regained his position as the PDP National Secretary. Underline that word.
So, but if he had won the governorship seat in Imo State, would he have come back to cling on to his secretaryship?
No. They won't have been holding two positions at the same time. I'm coming. So, that is just about the word may. And then you ask a very vital question. In a scenario where there is chaos and this type of thing is happening, where does the party fall back to? And my friend said, the INEC. How can INEC authenticate an election they did not witness? If they have witnessed that convention, it is binding on them to recognize that convention at Ibadan. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So, it's not good for you to, maybe because of the way we feel about one person or the other. I'm a social critic. I know that Nyesom Wike, as a person, he has his good, the bad, and the ugly side. But let us follow these things logically. This morning, the House of Representatives was in chaos. While the session was on, a particular member raised the issue concerning what we're just discussing now. He didn't point finger at anybody. But the issue he was pointing out is the issue of this may or may not. The speaker, you can go to your social media, you will say it today, is there, said these things he raised is one of the things they are trying to streamline in the current electoral reform that they are doing. So there are ambiguities surrounding that word may, of which House of Representatives this morning deliberated on it and they shifted it for something that they were meant in the electoral reform. Meaning that there are ambiguities surrounding whether INEC may or may not be present. So, let us not make mistakes and use it to make corrections. The truth is that PDP generally has shot themselves on the leg. I'm not talking for party A or Party B of PDP. But the things they ought to have handled many months or many years ago, they allowed it to metamorphose into an incurable cancer. Starting from suspending members of the political parties without arbitration, without trial, maybe because somebody holds the power. And the people who are close to those ones that were suspended continue to say, for we to forge ahead and make a huge success in 2027, let there be a reconciliation. And Damagu set a reconciliation committee headed by Olushola Saraki. Olushola Saraki, the team came up with a resolution on how to handle PDP matters. I think one of them is that they should try to bring together the warring factions, clean up suspension or no suspension thing, clean the house so that they could achieve something. The party still holds it, but they have not implemented it. Not until at the convention ground, when Bode George moved the motion, which is not in accordance with the party constitution. And that was why the other members, Fintri, who is the convention committee chairman, said, no, this is not what we discussed. It was open. The other governor of Plateau State, Muftuwang, or what is that his name?
Caleb Muftuwang.
Yes, said no. I'm just trying to bring it closer to my friend who is a barrister. Mm-hmm. How can you set a committee to carry out a particular function? They submitted their recommendations. It has not been discussed at the NEC or the BOT approved it. And a member of the BOT stood up at the convention ground to say that somebody has been suspended. Are we practicing, how do I put it? The type of Idi Amin's politics at Uganda.
All right.
So, constitution of the PDP should play out. Forget that about even the court injunction, because my friend said that the last one should subsist. But there was a third one from Sule Lamido, insisting that the convention will not hold. Assuming if there's no one from Sule Lamido, that second one that was relative bad would have held waters. But it was thrown behind and the PDP went ahead. The
Badon Court was the last one.
No.
The Badon Court.
Sule Lamido.
That one came before Ibadan.
It didn't come before Ibadan. What came before Ibadan?
It came late in Friday evening.
So, you know, I'm just coming. These things were there. So, I am a PDP man. I love PDP. And I would like PDP to excel by 2027.
All right.
But the line they are towing is not showing respect for their constitution.
All right. We'll come back. We'll need to take a break. When we come back, we'll try to take a look at how the PDP can find its feet again. It looks like the center is not holding and things are falling apart at the Wadata Plaza out there at the PDP headquarters. The Eastern Eye returns after this break. Stay with us. You're welcome back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV, a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. My name is Alex Obodo. I still have my guests in the studio, but let me turn to Barrister Amos Obuna. There seems to be a lot of legal web surrounding what has happened in Ibadan, the convention, the court orders that are flying in. And then at the end of the day, at an interview later today, Samayang, who is now referred to as a factional secretary of the PDP, is referring to the convention as an illegal convention. That as we speak, that they have a caretaker chairman or acting chairman of the PDP. He's from Adamawa State. So and how will do you think all this can come together with the convention held, with a new faction. Turaki is chairman that they elected at a convention, and then Samayan was still insisting that they have an acting chairman. So how do you think all this can be aligned so that the PDP can forge ahead?
Samayan is speaking for himself. Of course, he's speaking from a subjective point of view because he's among those who were suspended, so no one expects him to be happy. So he can say whatever he wants to say. But the National Convention is the highest decision-making body, organ of the party, and they have made that decision. So if he says it's illegal, then he's on his own. So far, there's only one convention that PDP has done now, which is the Wadata Convention. And the Constitution says National Convention is the highest decision-making body. And my friend said that there was no hearing of those suspended. PDP set up a disciplinary committee, as well as a reconciliation committee came later. He set up a disciplinary committee to discipline all these people that were running down the party, like Wike and his cohorts. You know? So, if they were not heard, they still the internal affairs of the party. Now, I will draw an analogy here. In 2022, PDP had a NEC meeting and fixed primary election in Ebonyi State for 28 and 29 May 2022. When that primary election was ongoing, there was another letter that came from Abuja, Wadata Plaza, signed by the national chairman and I think the secretary, Anyanwu, postponing that primary election to 4th and 5th June 2022. So Ifeanyi Chukwumodi participated in the primary election that was cancelled in Abakaliki, and he won. Then the same PDP came down in Ebonyi to conduct another primary election on 4th and 5th June, in which Obi Noba, the Senator Obi Noba, won. Now, there was a problem. Which of the primaries would now become valid? Since each of them has a full, all candidates emerged on each of these primaries.
And they went to court.
And they went to court. Now, from Federal High Court said it was the May Ifeanyi Chukwumodi candidacy that is valid. Court of Appeal overruled the Federal High Court and said it was the Senator Ogba that is the authentic candidate, and the matter ended in the Supreme Court. You see, I've always said it in honor of Hanokafo. Supreme Court has never departed from that decision. When the matter got to Supreme Court in 2022, they said it was the internal affairs of the party. Where you have two primaries, it is the party that will decide which one they will go with. It's as simple as that. And the argument of the Ifeanyi Chukwumodi in the court was that since NEC was the one that fixed the date for 28th and 29th May 2022, it will take another NEC to change that date. That the Yochayu, who was then the national chairman, and the secretary had no competence to change the decision that was taken at NEC. It is a very authentic, very germane argument, but the Supreme Court did not listen to it. Supreme Court said, however it is the structure, it is the party that will decide which of the two primaries to go with. And that party is National Executive Committee, and to be ratified by the National Convention. And so we all came home, and the National Executive Committee decided to go with the first one, which the national chairman had cancelled. And that was why Chukwumodi flew the flag, gubernatorial flag of PDP in Ebonyi State for 2023 election. The same thing will happen in this case. If INEC refuses to acknowledge the Wadata Convention, the matter will go to court. The Federal High Court, I don't know why over the years they have not been able to follow the principle laid down in honor of Hanokafo by Supreme Court. They will always pitch their tent with one side, then get overruled by the Court of Appeal, and then the Supreme Court will say they are not interested. It is the internal affairs of the party. Eventually, the Supreme Court will say It is the national body, the highest organ of the body of the PDP that will decide which one are the authentic leaders of the party. And that's where the matter ends. So, if Anyanwu says it's illegal, he's speaking for himself. Because that is not the position of the law. And the no court can even say it is illegal. Because going by the principle set down since 1983, it will always be internal affairs of the party. It is the convention that the organ of the party have decided to adopt that will go. Meanwhile, there's even no other convention so far. And so there are parallel leadership of the party. The Supreme Court will look at what organ of the party selected each of these leaders. Is Anyanwu an organ of the party? Is Wike an organ of the party? It is the one selected by the highest organ of the party, which is the National Convention, that is the authentic one. And this will come in the fullness of time. You see, this fight is good. And this fight should have started last year, as soon as after the general election. We have been saying it. There's no need to shy away from what you have to do. Your house is burning, and the person that is stoking the fire, you allow him to continue to stoke the fire that's burning your house. Deal with Wike and let him get out of this party. He has vowed, because he lost the ordinary primary election, to run for presidency, for president. He vowed to bring the party down, and he did it. Everybody saw that he campaigned against the party with the 4 other governors that he garnered to himself. And now, after the election, why was he still allowed to remain in the party? So this fight should have started as soon as general election of 2023 was concluded, so that by now we would have finished the fight. But now we are starting the fight very late, and we are fighting now into 2026 when primary election is supposed to start. So this thing will affect primary elections that will bring out those who are going to contest the election for 2027. Unless the court process runs its full course before April next year.
Yes, Honorable Dr. Nico Bionson, in 3 minutes, I would like you to tell us exactly what you think will be the pathway to reconciliation in the PDP, or do you think that what we used to know as the PDP has now faded away? That soon the Wadata Plaza we used to know might turn into a different thing and not the PDP headquarters?
Alex, I said before now that PDP started shooting themselves on the leg. Sam Anyanwu was just suspended just ordinarily because they said he's a friend or loyal to Nyesom Wike. Is that enough? The South chairman, the Afia state chairman, the Imo state chairman suspended because they say they are friends to so person. If a panel was set and they were found guilty, fine and good. Dismiss them, suspend them. That is where I said that BDP, they were trying to exert political muscles to muscle out some people. If not that, for somebody like Nyesom Wike, who continue to, checkmate some of these our illegalities, and we know he has his own problem. But Nyesom Wike always say, why should this be like this? Okay, if there should be reconciliation, if there should be election, why don't we come together, lift those suspensions, lift court injunctions, and the party will forge ahead. But because they felt that they can, lord it over everybody, those that went to Ibadan. I continue to say, we have 36 states of the federation. How comes that only 17? Is Wike in the other 19? Is it about Nyesom Wike? It's not about throwing some people away and moving with some people. So, I am not supporting A or supporting B. But let PDP follow their constitution to the letter. If Wike was found guilty after the so-called election they did, they would have called him. I was even in this studio with you. I am coming. I'm coming. It was in this studio.
So that was
I am coming.
All the role that Wike played, what do you think? Do you think that finally now that an announcement to suspend him has been made, is that the right decision?
He cannot be suspended without being tried. When you try him and find him guilty, you can suspend him. Nobody is above the law. But to stand on a conventional ground and say that so person suspended, those who say yes, that's not how to follow a constituted.
So, but why did they do that?
If they did it because they have been, this problem has started already.
So,
you can imagine national secretary.
Does the constitution,
you can imagine a national legal advisor.
Or does the rule they also use the word may, that you may also use voice
Alex,
voice
the truth
affirmation?
is that you cannot use people to treat somebody that has eye problem. The truth is that PDP should come together, amend some of these things they spoil by themselves. Put Wike aside. Don't be talking about. Let's not be talking about 19 states that did not participate in the convention.
Honorable Dr. Nico Zonsi.
Yes. So let's not be talking about individuals.
Everybody on this table knows where the real heat is coming from.
Yes.
So there's no need to beat about the bush.
So let's leave
the big issue here is that there is something happening in the PDP, and the FCT minister is at the center of it. So how do you deal with him? That's what the question is.
You deal with him
or is it that he shouldn't be dealt with?
You deal with him when you find him guilty.
Are there parties that are
deal with him when you have
drama?
set up an arbitration panel to try him in accordance with PDP constitution? That's how to deal with him. And whoever is found guilty, whatever the constitution says should be followed.
He has been suspended. Let him go to court.
That is not the way. We are not practicing Idi Amin of Uganda.
So that we can rest in this party.
Are you getting me?
We can rest.
Let us. Have you rested now?
We are resting.
You are not resting. What happened at Wadata Plaza today?
We will have our meeting tomorrow.
No. What happened at Wadata Plaza today should tell you that Pikin will say Papa no go sleep, go kill that awake also.
Is there a sense that the rule?
No, we should follow our constitution.
We just have a couple of minutes to go. Is there a sense, Barrister Abunaya, that the presence of Wike in the PDP currently, that some people find it like a soap opera they're enjoying? They're enjoying the role he's played, how he takes on everyone, goes on media chats, and takes everyone to the cleaners. Is there a sense that some people are enjoying the soap opera, and they are thinking that Wike is too big, too large?
Nobody is too big.
Just a minute. That is too large a force to be taken on by anybody in Nigeria.
The point is that Wike has undertaken to be a hatchet man. He's being used by the ruling party to make sure that this opposition, PDP, is destroyed. Look, when Tommy Kimi met Wike on the bid to resolve the issues he has with the party, the condition he gave them was that PDP should not present a candidate, presidential candidate
allow him
for
to finish.
2027.
You will respond to that.
It is on record. It is up there. It is on record. It's been spoken about even till today. That he said that PDP, if the PDP can agree not to field the presidential candidate for 2027, then all problems in the party will be solved. That was the point of departure. How can you say a political party should not field the presidential candidate? So it's not above the law.
We'll just have a minute to go.
So suspended.
Honorable Dr. Nico,
yes.
Is there also a sense that what's happening in the PDP now, except Wike is happy with a decision, that decision cannot be taken? Is that what it is?
First of all, let me debunk what my friends say.
You can't debunk it. It's on
a
record.
social media gimmicks.
It's not.
Listen, if it is like that, the entire PDP, including somebody who entered PDP today, would have stood up against Nyesom Wike. Social media try to pick some of these things in order to bring somebody down. How can somebody say that I accept? Is he the owner of the party?
He is.
Or is he the owner of the PDP?
He has said severally he's the owner of the party.
We have investigated this matter and it's fallacy.
Okay.
So there's nothing like that. So Nyesom Wike remaining in PDP, if PDP finds him guilty of those things that he was alleged, he should be expelled. And also, not because he has friends. Some of the things they were alleging that Nyesom Wike was doing, they are transferring aggressions to people like Sam Anyanwu, to people like what of the former governor of Kwara State, who was the reconciliation chairman, who said, no, this is not what we discussed. Nigeria should listen to us. What of Fintri? What of governor of Plateau State?
Well, it does appear.
These people say that these things should not be done this way. Let it be followed by constitution. And because people were already angry with Nyesom Wike. Nyesom Wike has never met me one-on-one. He's not my brother, he's not my friend.
But
let PDP follow constitution.
Great.
That's where I stop.
We're now out of time, and it does appear that Wike has become an oracle. There's nothing the PDP can do about him.
He's suspended.
Thank you, gentlemen.
He's suspended.
What about the 17 versus 19 states? Where are the rest 19?
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Nichols. Also, thank you.
So please, let's follow things.
Even if it's one state, we're okay with it.
No,
Thank you so
that
much.
is not democracy.
That's the Eastern Eye for tonight. Join us tomorrow same time for another edition of the program. My name is Alex Obodo.
Thank you.